It's a question thousands of working moms ask themselves every day: can you have it all? Well, these days, some mothers are finding out it's too difficult to work full-time and raise children, too.
You know what? I'm sorry, sweetie. You gotta go. Go with Dean. The one day they do non-tech first, I wasn't sitting here, so I have to call in, and I'll just get my place back when I call in. See, he doesn't like to not be a part of it. You can come back in a little bit, Connor. You can come back in a little while, okay?
Carol Warner-Wilkie is a mother of two who is quitting her job as a successful analyst on Wall Street on Friday to stay at home full-time. And Pamela Stone, a sociologist at Hunter College. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
So, Carol, big decision.
Very big.
You've been working for 17 years. This week, you're going to leave. How do you feel? Nervous? Excited?
I'm really excited. It's certainly not a decision that I made lightly, and I've been working on it for a while, but I'm really excited. You know, my kids are 2 and 4 now, and I just feel like it's a great time to really be involved in their lives and experience with them what they're experiencing rather than hearing about it.
Well, talk to me a little more about the reasons, because one thing I thought was interesting is that you said it was easier when the kids were infants and they weren't able to say to you, Mommy, you know, why are you going to work? Why are you leaving me?
Yeah, well, that's a big part of it. I mean, and of course, when they were infants, I didn't think it was easy, but just as I look back, you know, there isn't a little person saying, how many more work days? Is today a work day? Is it 5 more till the weekend? And also traveling. I had a lot of travel involved in my job, and, you know, getting on an airplane and going away for a week just was really heart-wrenching. And I mean, I'm lucky in that I fulfilled my goals in my career, and so it wasn't, that part of the decision wasn't so tough. I don't think I'm going to have the what-ifs I had just stayed. I mean, I did what I wanted to do, so I feel it's a great time.
Let me ask you to talk to us a little bit about your study. You looked at 50 mothers, 50 women, and stay-at-home mothers, and found some common trends.
Yes, I mean, what I found and what I expected to hear when I started the study was that they were going to talk to me primarily about family and kids. And I think the real surprise for me was how much they talked to me about work. And for many of these women, all of whom were professionals working in high-powered, demanding jobs, the theme really was that many of them wanted very much to find ways to maintain work and continue with their careers, but the nature of the jobs that they had really were, as they repeatedly said to me, all or nothing, and there was really no middle position for them. So I found them talking a lot about the inflexibility of work, finding it very difficult to make part-time arrangements or to job share, that kind of thing.
And a lot of frustration.
And a lot of frustration. It was a very difficult decision for the women I talked to. As Carol is alluding to, it was very, very tough, very conflicted. It was oftentimes very protracted and long decision.
Is it different than, obviously it's different than it was 10 or 15 years ago, but is it different in a sense because women have come a long way in the workplace and are in more high-powered jobs now, and therefore can't find the flexibility because they're the kind of jobs where it's all or nothing?
I think that's absolutely right. And there are very much this great research that shows that, in fact, the most overworked Americans are people who work in professional and managerial jobs. They put in the longest hours. And as a result, when you have women in those jobs, and remember, these women are married to men who are in similar jobs, you have couples who are really facing tremendous time pressures at work.
Why is it easier for women than it is for men? It's always easier, but I mean more difficult rather for women.
I was going to say, I think it's probably harder for women because the workplace, and this is the stories that I heard from these women, the workplace still assumes that men are workers and men have wives at home to support them. And workplaces are structured around that model. And many of the women would say to me, and they would say this with complaints, you know, my boss, all the men I worked with had women and wives who were staying at home, and they didn't understand, as a result, the kinds of difficulties and challenges I faced. So I think that it's more difficult for women because the workplace is still fairly, you know, male-oriented, and many men don't fully understand the difficulties that these women are facing.
Carol, do you think you'll go back?
I don't think I'll go back and do what I was doing. I loved what I did, and I did it for quite a long time. I mean, I haven't even started yet, so I've got 1 more week. I mean, eventually, will I do something? Maybe, but at this point, I'm just really excited to not have to be thinking about different things at different times.
What would you tell other women who are in a similar position and thinking about it?
Well, I think the key thing for me was that, you know, 3 years ago I wasn't ready. And I think the worst thing for me would have been to retire, to be with the kids, but to feel like I hadn't fulfilled it, because then there could be resentment. So I think the key is to just really feel good about that part so that you're not going to be tugged, oh, if I'd only, you know, stayed to get that promotion. For me, that was the key, because 3 years ago was a very different situation.